So I turned 30 today, which feels kind of weird, to be honest. But I wanted to talk about a few things that I feel like every man should know at 30 years old. Um, and these are things that I've definitely gotten the most value out of knowing. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. So, number one is going to be to love your wife if you have one. And for wives, love your husbands. And um, it's the most important thing you can do. And so I was having a talk with one of my friends the other day, and he was saying, he was talking to his wife about how they were going to split up chores or housework and things like that. And I realized that being married to my wife for 3.5 years and having lived with her for about 4.5 years, we had never talked about splitting up housework before. I do a fair amount of cooking. I'd say I do about 80% of it. And I do at least half of the cleaning. But my wife does so much when it comes to our son. When our son is sick, she's up with him all night. It's pretty intense. I feel really bad. I'm a super heavy sleeper, and I do my best to be there at all times, but she takes care of all of that. She's always on top of things like planning. She does her own thing, but I never ask her to do any of that. In fact, I've never asked her to be a better mom or to take more care of our son. She just does it. And she's never asked me to clean anything, never asked me to cook anything, doesn't ask me to work harder, longer hours. No, we just get things done because we're married and we love each other. And I serve her and she serves me. And I would hope that in most relationships, especially in married relationships, that's how you begin to view things. Um, yes, when things get crazy, it helps to, devise a plan and say who has which role. But, um, just viewing it from a Christian perspective, let's say if you want to say that way for marriage, um, husbands, they got to step up their game. Like, obviously, the quote is always, as Jesus loved the church, that's how you need to love your wife. And that's not an easy calling at all for men. You need to put in work every single day. Um, that's a requirement. And your wife, she will reciprocate the love because um, as long as I know, with my mom and my wife, women are incredibly strong, beautiful, and they'll, give their life for their kids and their husbands. They care so much. But you need to put in that work for them too, and show them why they're your world and show them that they're your world through your action. Okay, so tip number two is going to be to view things as a duty. Don't view things as like, I need to do this to be a good person. Like, um, I guess a good example would be that some people would say that we all do things to be selfish at the end of the day. Like, oh, we're only nice to people because we can get something out of it, or we only gift someone something because we want to see the reaction on their face and we want them to know that it came from us at the end of the day, or just seeing them makes us happy, which makes that selfish. Um, and we shouldn't do things to get something out of it. And I want you to get that out of your mentality, that you're doing something for the ultimate end being you. I want you to view things as a duty. So a good example would be like a Marine that jumps on a grenade. That Marine doesn't do it for the glory. They don't want a Medal of Honor. They won't even know if they got one or not. They just automatically do it. And it's not training. I was a Marine. I never trained to jump on a grenade. And I don't think any Marines do train for that, right? It's just an inherent sense of duty and accountability to your um, fellow Marines, fellow soldiers, depending on which branch you're in. And so that's how you need to view the service that you do for others. It's your duty to help out other people. It's your duty to be kind to the planet and to not litter. These aren't, tokens. They're not things that will get you into heaven, or they're not things that are going to make you a better person. No, they're just your duty. That's what you need to be doing. And it's about the intention behind it. It's not about the act. So, and that's one thing that, Jesus was pretty big out about, is that, like, hey, whatever you do, it needs to be with the heart. It needs to be out of love, out of the duty, and ultimately it's to glorify God, not for your own glory. So the acts that you do, if they're for your own glory, they ultimately end up meaning nothing. So view things as a duty. That's number 2. Number 3 is be honest, regardless of the consequences. That's one of the biggest things that's going to help you out in life and to progress. Being honest with others is huge, especially at work. If you mess up, own it. Everyone's going to respect you more for it. And being honest with yourself. If you know you can do more, if you know that you can perform better, if you know that you're not putting in the time with your family that you could be because you're at work, but you're not even working that hard, and vice versa, I need you to not lie. And this is a message for myself as well. Those 3 things are gonna, I think, hopefully propel me in my 30s to be a better person. And number 4, a bonus one, is to put in the work. You can't skip the work. If you want to be truly successful in this life, you need to put in the work.